Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining us today for this edition of Smart Talk. My name is Husna, and I'll be your host for today's session on a very important and relevant topic, that is understanding the POSH Act and creating a safer workplace for everyone. We are truly excited to have with us the subject matter expert who brings both knowledge and practical insights to the table. It's a pleasure to introduce Ms. Radha Sharma. Radha Sharma is an experienced consultant and speaker in POSH, DNI, and HR with global certifications from the UN. She is a leader with WICC and G100, and she is also a co founder of Vama Shakti Foundation. With 10 plus years of experience, she has trained over 41,000 professionals across major organizations, helping create safer and more inclusive workplaces. So now over to you, Ms. Radha ma'am.
Great. So welcome participant for today's session, which is prevention of sexual harassment at the workplace. When we talk about the sexual harassment, we have one feeling. That feeling is discomfort, unwelcome, insecurity. So when a woman who feels this kind of a feeling, right, that means if she face any kind of a harassment, she all of a sudden feel that, oh my god, something happens to me. She feel bad, she feel insecure. So when this kind of a feeling comes to that, we say clearly it is a sexual harassment. So management, HR, your internal committee member and the victim need to understand definition very clearly. Secondly, we need to difference between the inappropriate and is sexual harassment. Some of the things may be the inappropriate but doesn't fall under the sexual harassment. What are those? Say about if somebody will write you a message at night, rather I'm thinking about you. Does it fall under the category of posh or a sexual harassment? No, though it is inappropriate kind of a communication late at night and without consent, but it is not sexual harassment, right? Because it is not having any kind of a, sexual harassment content in the communication. So now, when we talk about internal committee role, though there are the role of the management, HR, internal committee, team leaders, and the employees as well. But particularly here, because we all are here, HR and internal committee members, so we will focus on the role of the internal committee. When the management nominate internal committee members and have the orientation, they are given by the clear definition about their work expectations, right? So the work of the committee is first of all to draft a POSH policy for that organization. The POSH policy, which is based on the your company service rule, based on the code of conduct, and what the POSH Act says about it. So we need to consider the Vishakha guidelines, keeping in mind while drafting the POSH policy and the POSH Act 2013 as well. Right. The internal committee, once they draft the policy, they need to implement. Once they implement, there should be the continuous monitoring of it, that how the POSH policy is working. Are all employees are clear about what are the rules under the POSH Act. So they need to have a POSH policy in a very simple word where they can understand it and can follow it. So when we talk about the POSH policy, it must contain the inappropriate behavior, internal committee, and how the internal committee support them for the grievances. That means writing the POSH complaint about it and how the other kind of a support the committee can offer to the victim. Now, the POSH committee is supposed to give a POSH proper work culture, positive work culture in the organization where we say about zero sexual harassment that can be delivered through the message by the awareness session. Now, awareness session can be it's recommended once in a year, but whenever the committee finds a challenge in the organization, that challenge may be anybody's behavior, any departmental issues, anything which can lead to the sexual harassment. So it's the duty of the POSH committee members to monitor the behavior of the employee time to time and to sensitize them not only with the generic training as per like being a trainer or a consultant. I must say that there should be the customized training for them. So once we talk about the customized training, that may be like how to handle their emotion, right? And how to make the things confidential, right? How our communication should be confidential, right? All these things. And what is the cooperation at the time of the any kind of investigation is going on in the committee. So these are certain generic training which we can implement in the organization. Let's talk about now the final role, which is as equal important to submit the annual report. Every member of the committee should know that what are the content of the annual report and what are the deadlines, how the committee need to fill that form in an appropriate format and submit within the time frame, right? That says about that annual report should contains the number of complaints received, number of complaints attending, and number of complaints pending, if any, right? And if it is pending, why it's pending, we need to give the reason. Then the other documentation as well, the records of the trainings, evidence, and what are the trainings you have implemented in the organization? Have you implemented the customized training to the HODs, and what were the training for the committee members? So all details need to be filled in the annual report format and to be given to the district magistrate office. Now, if we talk about the grievance redressal process, so this process, though we need to follow the natural principle of justice, where the internal committee members need to be well trained in that, because they are the people who are going to investigate the complaint, right? So my question to you is, can we go bit outside the like we can have certain more ways to address the complaint? Can we try new methods, right? Yes, we have particular though from the law a generic method of complaint handling which says about how the complainant can lodge a complaint, right? What is the time frame to lodge a complaint, and what is the time frame for the internal committee members to take up the next investigation steps and all? What should be the process? First, counseling, right? Examination, re-examination, cross-examination, which we need to understand clearly when we have the training for internal committee members, right? And what are the legal rights, and what are the your legal rights as a committee member is important to understand. So it's not only your legal rights, it's the legal rights of the victim as well. So let's take an example. Does victim challenge the committee's recommendation? Yes. Victim and respondent both have the equal rights to challenge your decision. So now in grievance redressal process, right from lodging a complaint, redressal process, or the other documentation, witnesses, evidence, we need to thorough with all the procedure to take it up. what the law says about the confidentiality. Is that the only victim need to be confidential in her name? No, only not the name of the victim, but with all the content of the charge sheet. So that every charge sheet need to be confidential, witnesses name to be confidential, the way you are handling the complaint procedure need to be confidential. Let's take an example. Like if a management will ask you the question, how the things are going, can you show me any paper, how the procedure has reached to that kind of a examination or re-examination, any of the thing, right? He can ask any kind of a document. So what's your duty being a committee member? To keep it confidentiality, right? We are not supposed to give any paper to the management till we finish the investigation. That means we need to keep every process, every step confidential, right? Only victim has the right to ask for any documentation for verification, just to see whether the things are in an appropriate manner, or the committee may not be biased for her. So, or even with the accused as well, for both the parties, right? Protection. Yes, victim have the one thing in mind, right? Whether I'm into the right hands, whether I'm protected, shall I go to write a written complaint, whether I will be heard, right? So many questions will be in her mind, but your duty is to make her in the first session. That first session we talk about your counseling session by committee member. She has the right to opt for any member to speak about it, right? So we should consider about her legal right when we talk about her communication, where she wants to come and she needs to talk about her hurt, right? She says that, okay, I need to speak to Radha, right? So Radha need to attend her call, and she need to talk about the in complaint, right? So this kind of a protection is the primary mode to when you are having the first counseling. The second protection, whenever the investigation is going on and the committee member finds that it is a time she needs to be protected, she need not to come to office, she may have any threatening by the accused. So by identifying that, you need to give the protection for attending from office, from the home, or you may grant leave, or you may grant any other protection to her. That is totally based on the severity of the complaint as well as the impact on the victim. We need to consider these two things when we talk about the protection. Non-retaliation. Many times, people retaliate. Committee's role is to make them understand. When I talk about go bit away from the generic training, let's customize it, right? So can you customize any training for the employees which give them that how do they cooperate the committee? They do not retaliate just because of fear in their mind that maybe he is also my boss. Why should I be in trouble? Why should I be in between? Right? It is not my duty. So need to understand that how they can intervene, how they can talk about it, and how they can cooperate to the committee as well and to the colleague, right? Because colleague who is working with them may be in a problem due to some kind of a harassment. So it's our duty to protect them. It's duty to cooperate them. Right. Now, when we talk about the punishment for violation, non-violation, all of us understand that this is an important compliance. All the management need to take it up. And when we talk about monetary punishment, it is a minimum 50,000, can go up to go in the lakhs. It is a number of times. If you violate it, your business license can be cancelled. And when we talk about other thing, the branding of the organization, when you find that the victim is not treated, victim is not promptly addressed, right? She can go to the social media. What about the branding of your organization? Think about it, the business, the name of the organization, right? It's going to have the impact. So, second thing, which is more important, when the victim will go to the police, right? And there is an interruption in the working. The police will come, have the investigation with the other employees, HR, or to the management. So there is a interruption of the business as well. So we need to consider all these things in mind when we talk about the non-compliance. So now let's come to the suppose unfortunately in internal committee receive a complaint, right? The complainant comes with the written complaint, right? And keep it in mind, whenever the victim will come only with the written complaint and with the identity of her name, then only internal committee can proceed with the complaint or the investigation, right? So now, keeping in mind the questions at the early stage, committee members should opt for the open-ended questions. How it happened, when it happened, what did you did, what he did to you, how you felt, how he responded. The very, very small questions need to be carried on by the three members of the internal committee members who are involved in that investigation. Is there any questions? Hello? Shall I
Uh,
carry on?
if there are any questions, you can put it on the chat session and then we'll take it at the end. Is that okay?
Okay. So, close-end questions are the part of not the examination, but the part of re-examination and cross-examination by the internal committee member, where both the parties have the questions to be asked by either of the party or by the any of the witness. They can put up the questions, right? So this way we can have the questions from the victim, accused, and the both the parties' witnesses. So before you take up the actual investigation, let us make a practice that we should talk to the party, make them understand what is going to be the procedure of the investigation. Because I said they feel insecure, they have a lot of confusion in mind, they may retaliate due to certain insecurities. So in your first counseling, when you discuss about how the investigation will go on, it is better to talk about at that time. So that will be easier for you to take up the investigation in a smooth and cooperation manner by the employees. Okay. Now, when we talk about the prevention as well, right? Prevention says that, oh, it is better that I would have taken care earlier, right? How many of you says that in POSH also prevention is better, right? Okay. So once you say it is necessary to have the preventive strategies in the organization, right? And we need to find out what are those preventive strategies. According to our resources, we can follow it, right? So according to me, what I feel, that intervention is important. So even at our home also, let's our siblings, we fight with each other, or we have some dispute, our elders will come and interrupt between, or other our other elders sibling will come and interrupt between to stop it. So in the POSH also, when we talk about the victim is not able to come up, she is not able to help herself, right? And maybe due to her introvert nature or other insecurities. So it's the duty of the other colleague who is watching, who is noticing that Radha as a victim is not able to come up or to ask for help. So come, help Radha, right? Now, in that way, you can talk to the accused, right? Don't worry if he is your boss as well. Accused may be Radha's boss, accused may be your boss. So that time you think that why should I be in between? My job will be insecure. My performance appraisal will be affected. No, my dear friends, no. It is your duty when somebody is in trouble, come and intervene. So now it's a request. Don't be argumentative, right? Just politely and ask the person, don't you think Radha is finding certain problem? Can we speak with her? Can we have a common meeting? So these are certain example where we can initially intervene between and can talk to the accused, right? And accused immediately will get alert. Yeah, somebody else is noticing my behavior, right? And it is not good. It can be complaint also. So we need to intervene when we find somebody is in a problem. Okay. Now, the second preventive strategies in my way, I am more creative, right? And I find that there should be something different from the generic practices. Say about reporting channels. In our organization, we find that this is the law has said and we can go accordingly. This is the internal committee, and whosoever is a victim will approach only to the internal committee. But nowadays, companies are practicing some different reporting channels. So the very first reporting channel may be HR or maybe some other person, right? Name Mr. X. He can be the first person where the victim can go and can write a complaint or can talk about the harassment. So this way we can have two, three reporting channel. I mean, it can be HR, it can be any HOD, or it can be any POSH champion in your organization, or it can be online, it can be third party, it can be anything. So that will be, I mean, that always will be discussed with the management and to find out the way that this reporting channel can be beneficial for the employees to follow it up, because some channels are more technical where the employees are not comfortable. They just cannot go and cannot write online sometime, right? Suppose if I'll talk about the blue collar worker, they are not technical savvy, right? So they need to go to the internal committee or HR. Where they go to HR, they have one thing in mind, that maybe I will be thrown out, right? I will be terminated, or maybe they think I'm the culprit. So many reasons are there. So this way we try to make three at least minimum channels where the employee is easy to access to write about the harassment or to report about the harassment. So that can be discussed whenever you find your management is ready to opt for it. Prompt response. As I discussed earlier, if you say Radha, oh, don't you think I'm busy? Committee members are also employee. I am traveling, or I am not well, or I have some other important work, right? Or you think that there is a reason that accused is in an authoritative position. So you even become slow to take up the complaint. You start avoiding, or you do not take up the investigation at the time. How the victim feels, right? Why you give a chance to the victim to go to the social media outside the organization to talk about it publicly, right? So it is best whenever something comes up, whether it's a small issue, whether it's a critical issue, you being an internal committee member need to take up a prompt response, right? That she's heard, right? At least I'm at ease, right? I am out of my stress. I can rely committee members, right? And I can cooperate further. So many things comes to mind when you promptly attend the complainant, right? Now, you attended the complainant, but what else the next step? Have you guided her? Have you coordinated her in between? Say about you have the counseling session without my formal complaint, and you did not care about it, right? You did not ask Radha, everything is smooth now, Radha? How you're feeling? I hope accused is not disturbing you, right? Or the second thing, if you take up an investigation, what is the next step? When the accused will be investigated, right? When you take care about my evidence I have provided to the internal committee. So whatever the next follow up, you need to give her promptly. I mean, frequency communication with the victim has to be there, right? Now let's talk about the most important thing, protocols. Does internal committee member follow the protocols? The protocols of POSH Act 2013, what it says about the complaint, about the complainant, about the timeline, about the documentation, about the accused, and about the recommendation. Everything is having a protocols to follow it up. All right. So how are we following? The very first protocol is how many members of the committee member need to be involved for the investigation, right? It is 3 members need to be, including mandatory for the presiding chairperson or the presiding officer, right? How many days you need to take to start an action for the complaint? 3 working days, you need to take up the call or the investigation. That means the first meeting with the accused and the complainant, both. Then you have only the 7 working days to make a chart sheet. The chart sheet should be well prepared. Keep it in mind the content of the complainant has given in written. Everything. Suppose Radha has given a complaint, right? But she doesn't know about appropriately how to write about it, about the chronological order, about the events, about the dates, and everything, and about the evidence. So it's your duty, it's your protocol to guide Radha to write a appropriate complaint, right? Or you can write yourself and get her signature so that you can take it up further, right? Then what is the protocol about being unbiased, right? That is the most important thing, that the committee members need to be unbiased, right? And the timeline about to follow in each step. Investigation, right? Investigation says that everything need to be with the natural principle of justice. That means you cannot ignore any of the technical feature of the POSH Act while taking up the investigation, either with the victim or with the accused, right? You need to follow it up. Then providing trainings. Management sometimes, he has a lot of work to do about it, and it's your duty to recommend, right, that your company employees require particular type of a training, right? Once we are talking about the generic training about awareness and other things, but no, more than that we are going about it. Say about when we are talking about physical touch, right? So can we take up a training on a body language? Yes. need to recommend the management that the body language or the communication training can be recommended for a particular employees or a particular department or for the whole organization. So different particular trainings need to be provided by the internal committee members, right? Promote and monitor the POSH policy. Implementation of POSH policy is much important. You need to tell every new joinee also that this is our POSH policy. Go through it, understand it, mark it wherever he or she cannot understand, get the things clear, right? It is important for the new joinee as well, and to the existing employees who do not understand the difference between the inappropriate and sexual behavior. So your POSH policy should be clear, implemented, and to be promoted in the organization. Now, can we take up some innovative strategies? When we talk about innovative strategies, that means yes, let's go out of boundaries. Out of boundaries, not in behavior, out of boundaries in the practices to implement POSH in the organization, right? So, first of all, again, it's a kind of a training you can recommend to the management to define personal boundaries, right? Victim even sometime is not able to decide about the personal boundaries. Suppose you received a complaint, right, from Radha, right, and accused answer, oh, I was just sending her the jokes because Radha is an extrovert personality. She laughs with me. She too crack jokes with me, right? But here, Radha has not decided her personal boundaries. It doesn't mean that she will not be heard. She will be heard. But we are finding the gap. Why it's happening? Let's we take up certain kind of a different training in the employees that we are. Sorry, I hope I'm online. Okay. So personal boundaries need to be defined. These personal boundaries that I may be very happy with you to talk with you, but it is my boundary that I do not want to be connected personally for the personal reasons after 7 p.m. or after 8 p.m. Right? This is my boundary. Right? But I have not conveyed my boundary to the other person. How the other person will understand it. So making the boundaries is also important, but conveying is also important, right? To convey the boundary is, I think, bridging the gap between this kind of a behavior, right? So the other person will understand. Radha may be extrovert in nature. She likes my company, but she has certain professionalism line, which I should not cross it, right? Similarly, there are the trainings which can teach you how to make personal boundaries and how to convey that. I mean, now you need to understand importance of saying no, right? And how to say no to the other person. Create champions. Can we create champion for the posh? Yes. I practiced in my certain organizations where I'm impaneled, we created champions and they are really working efficiently. There are the better results where these people are trained under the POSH Act with the different kind of customized session, right? As I said about the communication, personal boundaries, how to say no, how to relieve stress, how to talk to your champion, how to trust to the committee. So many topics they are trained into, right? Now, a single champion can be handling 50% behavior, right? And any of the 50 employee who face any kind of a harassment or there is any experience about a challenging behavior, right, he can firstly go to or she can firstly go to the champion, can talk about it. Half of the things will be resolved over there, and most of the things also, the minor things can be where the POSH committee will take it under the informal method or under the conciliation. Here, champion can work for the conciliation. So this is really effective according to your employee strength in the organization. Make champions, train them, and even reward them. It is important to reward for their outstanding work for making the workplace better, right? Wall of commitment. I think all of us know what is vision board, right? Is there any person who doesn't know vision board? Yes, all of us know. Now, according to your resources, what we can do it, we can create a wall. This wall can be created on the pantry, your cafeteria, or in your recreation room, right? Where the employees assemble, right? And or in your auditorium as well, where employees can write something about slogan, how they can contribute in the awareness of sexual harassment, right? Or they can make a painting, they can stick onto it. So there are a lot of things which they want to communicate, right? How they can contribute, or you yourself can make it certain poster. When we talk about, the law says that you need to stick a poster on the wall, right? Why can't we put it onto the commitment board, right? Commitment board can have the message from the management that gives the impact. Your management says that how we implement zero harassment in our organization. So every time, I mean, after a month or so or on quarter basis, you can change the messages, you can add on the new thing. And similarly, you can reward your employees who are contributing in conveying this message throughout the organization without fear of compliance, without fear of punishment, right? Without fear of job insecurity. I think this is the best way we can convey this message in the organization. Create a consent based work culture. When we talk about consent, how many of us we understand consent? We says, okay, it's okay. If she is not replying today, she may reply tomorrow. Radha may reply again after a few days, right? So you keep on trying, keep on trying. No, my dear friend, all of us we need to understand importance of consent, and this is the most important training can be provided or recommended by the IC member to the management. Consent, how it works and how it is important, and respect for that consent. Accused should respect that consent. It matters a lot. So let's come on to the question answers.
Okay, so we are up for question and answers. Uh, do we have any questions we can put in the chat box? Okay, so I have an important announcement to make here. Before that, do we have any questions? Okay, so before we wrap up, like I would like to share a quick note for those who are looking to simplify their POSH compliance process. we at Pocket HRMS are offering a free ePOSH software, which is absolutely free for lifetime, like including the implementation, onboarding the entire process. So if you're interested, I'll share the concerned email IDs and contact number in the chat box. You can easily reach out to us. You can also reach out to us on LinkedIn and on Instagram. So we have questions. Second. Okay, Radha ma'am, someone is asking about what is meant by consent. Any examples can we give?
Yeah, if somebody asked me, Radha, would you like to go with me for a coffee? Right. Because I said that we are working in informal way. We are working from years. We are friendly. Right. And it's no harm. Asking or inviting on a coffee is not a sexual harassment until and unless victim goes there and any kind of a harassment she experienced there, then it is a sexual harassment. But consent here comes that Radha was quite mum at that time. Maybe she is not ready right now, right? Have patience, wait for the reply. And suppose after a few days she says, no, no, I just don't want, right? Respect her consent. Respect that why she says no to you, right? It is not always that the victim will come and say, this is the reason I don't like you, are not handsome, right? This is not the way, right? But if she says that I'm not interested, it is okay. Respect her, respect her decision. नीदर गो फॉर दैट आई मीन अरे उसने मना कर दिया चलो अभी क्या है कि हम तो कुछ ना ऐसा करते हैं जिससे वो इमोशनल ब्लैकमेल हो जाए hurting yourself, right? We are not in that age, teenagers, where we take up that step. So understand the value of consent. No means no. Thank you.
Okay, there's one more question. Abhishek is asking, as a third person, how do we identify accused?
How do you identify
Accused.
accused? Oh, accused to identify is very easy. As I said, anybody can guess from the actions, right? How do you stand with me? How do you sit with me? How closer you are with me? How many times you touch and say, Radha, come on, get up. It's lunchtime, it's coffee, right? Without touching, also, we can share, we can communicate, right? If somebody is looking that other person is again shaking my shoulder, Radha, getting late, let's go for coffee, right? Let's go for lunch. It is inappropriate behavior. And if you somebody is seeing that other person is leaning on my chair, right, or trying to hold my hand again and again, it is, isn't it? These are the very common things. And the communication, obviously, nobody close the ears. Everybody's ears are open when we are working together, right? You may not interrupt, that is another thing, but yet everybody can hear that how you are talking. If you come closer to me and say, Radha, I want you to talk in your ears, that's something special. It means that's so confidential. Can't we go to the conference hall and talk about it? Isn't it? If you openly talk like this, if you openly react like this, yes, there are a number of ways we can find that this is the accused.
Okay, the another question is, can complaint be about a junior who reports to you?
Yes, number of times.
Okay.
It's not a question of the person, the employee who is experiencing the harassment is a junior or a senior or in any kind of way. Maybe sometime a very senior authority may be facing this kind of a harassment. Some people doesn't come forward due to other restrictions. That means social stigma. Maybe the male, right? Maybe male harassed by the female, right? But he doesn't come forward because what the people will say about, यार तुम तो लड़के हो, लड़की ने तुमको ऐसे कह दिया, right? So ये जब stigma आता है, the male do not come forward. His family issues, his relationships, his society doesn't allow equally as to the women, right? He too have number of social stigma where he doesn't come forward to report a complaint about it.
Okay. So there's the another question is it the accused's right to receive copy of the complaint? If a complaint has
Yes,
been raised on a platform and the victim and the committee can access the complaint, should the accused also shown so should the complaint be also to shown the accused?
yes, it's his legal right until unless how he knows that who has made a complaint and what the allegations are. So it's
Okay.
his legal right to receive a copy of complaint. In the beginning, I have said about that the complainant should reveal her identity and that complaint need to be in a written format. Only then the obligation of the committee to take forward the investigation. Otherwise, it is not the obligation of the committee to take up the complaint.
Okay. And there are many people asking about the ePOSH software. So yes, of course, we provide a completely free ePOSH software, which is from implementation to onboarding. Everything is provided from Pocket HRMS, absolutely free for lifetime. We have provided the details. Everyone interested can contact us either on those IDs or number, or you can simply DM us on LinkedIn or Instagram. I have given all the details in the chat box. So the IDs and the contact numbers mentioned. Anyone who wants to go ahead with ePOS software can contact us. Any questions? Any questions further? Okay, so there is one question.
Yeah.
If conclusion is made as wrong allegations against accused, what to do next?
It's a malicious complaint, right? And there are many factors where the female come up because they are taking advantage. It's really, I mean, really sorry that this is happening in the organization. The female who comes forward with the wrong complaint or the wrong allegation accused, the what the law says about it. Law says that committee should recommend to the management that her case need to be taken care under the grievance committee of the organization or by the HR department. Any of these two.
Okay. There's one more question. Can a complaint be anonymous? If the complaint is anonymous, so how can we identify if the complaint is legit?
See, when we talk about the POSH Act 2013, it says that POSH anonymous complaint is not the obligation of internal committee, right? But when we talk about the workplace, when we talk about the protection of others, we cannot ignore it. We forward that complaint to the HR to look forward into that matter, right?
Okay, okay. So there's one
Yeah,
more
the whole
question.
procedure again will be either by the HR or by the grievance committee for the anonymous complaint, where the accused will be called, will be questioned, but it will not be, I mean, the full-fledged investigation. That will be given the oral warning by the HR department.
Okay. So there's another question, which is suppose if there are six branches of the same company, do we need to have six different committees, like one for each location, or how do we go about that?
Yes, we require six different locations, six different committees. Every location should have a different committee, separate committee.
Okay, okay.
right?
So there's one
In
more
that
question
case,
from,
yeah,
yes,
let
yes, ma'am.
detail. In that case, we can do that if you do not have much employees who are eligible for being a presiding officer or so. So you can make an apex committee, and apex committee says that your presiding officer and your external member can be same for all the committees, all the six committees.
Okay, okay, good. So there's one more question from Jayesh. Like, if we categorize open complaints in red, orange, and green categories, how will you identify them in terms of aging? As in, since how long the complaint is open to emphasize on the severity of the complaint, how serious it is.
See, when there is a orange or a red, it means it is a critical complaint, right? And the critical complaint may be sexual assault or a rape. We consider under POSH, right? And this kind of cases will be forwarded to the police station along with the complaint letter of the victim. And we support the victim to lodge that complaint to the police. It's the duty of the management and internal committee to lodge that complaint to the police.
Okay, okay. So there's one more question coming in. It is, how many days should ICC, that is Internal Complaint Committee, take to resolve the complaint?
To take the,
Uh, how many days should the Internal Complaint Committee take to resolve the complaint?
couldn't get it.
How many days should the Internal Complaint Committee take to resolve the complaint? If there's any particular complaint coming
Yeah,
in, how many days
yeah.
should we take ideally to resolve it? And she's
Okay.
also asking for
Please,
an
now,
example
okay. Now
of.
the word is clear. I'm sorry. I mean, this is
Okay.
something I was not able to hear between. So it's a 90 days time as per the timeline of POSH Act to resolve the complaint. But when we talk about the promptness, yes, the informal complaint, when we take it under the conciliation procedure, that maximum takes 7 working days, right? But for the formal and the other complaints which are investigated thoroughly by the re-examination and cross-examination can take more than a month or so. It totally depends upon the availability of all the parties as well. When we talk about the all the parties, we cannot force the victim to come and appear for an investigation, or victim sometimes finds difficulty in attending the complaint, she can walks off. It's okay, we give them the time to be comfortable and come back. So that may take certain times which increases the time period, maybe a month, maybe more than a month. And secondly, it depends upon the criticality of the severity of the complaint, how many time we need to investigate the whole people, I mean related to the complaint, accused and the witnesses. So that may take, I mean, it totally depends on all these features.
Okay. So Gayatri is also asking, can you give an example of how investigations are generally carried out?
See, as I said about the informal complaints are to be resolved by the committee under the conciliation, which is a very simple method of making the both parties sit together and talk about it. Simply, we talk about complainant, how she felt bad, what happened, how it made it felt bad, and accused that, oh, I was not aware, Radha, I thought is extrovert, so I wrote her like this. So by this time we just cannot give them the punishment so severe, we cannot take up the whole investigation for days and all we need so much of proof, both the parties sitting together and talking about their mind, how they felt it. So these complaints are to be taken at least 4 5 days or 2 days, totally depend upon the availability of all the parties, right? But the formal complaint, yes, it takes many time. As I said, it can be a week time, it can be 10 days, it can not only the week, it is not possible, but a month or so we can take.
Okay. 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 So people are asking, can we get the POSH training at a company? And can you please display like how about to go that if we want to get trained in POSH training?
That means they wanted to be trained
Like your
under.
phone number, right, under you or your mail ID, your phone number, if it is possible to share on screen right now,
Yeah, we can.
so that people can take a note of it
Okay.
and can reach
I
out
think I
if
haven't
they are looking
mentioned
for a
due to
POSH
certain.
trainers.
I haven't
Okay.
mentioned here, but I'll note down in the chat box, or you can write it
Sure,
down for
sure,
them.
sure. So we can put it in the chat box, sure.
Yeah. And I request the participant to write one more thing, because this is for the HR and for the committee members. So I have not taken the full legal process. If they wanted to have a training on that, customized training on the legal procedure of investigation, that you can take up another seminar for that.
Okay. Okay, sure, ma'am. So with
You
this,
can
do we have
organize.
any more? Sure, ma'am. We'll look for another session. So do we have any other questions now? Okay, I think this is it for it. But it was really very informative, and thank you so much, Radha ma'am,
Thank you, and
for
I
giving us your
sincerely
time.
apologize.
No, that
This
absolutely we understand it totally because it was network issues. What can we do?
Mhm.
It was beyond our control. And thank you
Yeah.
so much for all your knowledge and insights on this. And thank you everyone for joining us. And thank you so much. For any questions related to POSH or ePOSH software that we're giving, you can directly contact us, DM us on any of our social platforms. We are here to help you anytime. Thank you so much. Thank you. With this,
Thank
we wrap up.
participant. Thank you all. Thank you.